My 31M brother, 35M, who lives with me, is a bum. I need advice on what to do. We inherited the house we live in from our dad last year after he suddenly passed. I was living on my own in the same city but decided to move to live in my childhood home since we were inheriting it from our father. Completely paid off house, no mortgage, when I was paying $2,000 per mo for an apartment, so it made financial sense and it's closer to my work location. My older brother, 35, had been living there with my dad and mom before she also passed, since birth. I had moved out at 22. Since moving in, I've observed that my brother literally does nothing all day. He lost his job during the pandemic and did not get it back, but never tried to get a new job either. I've encouraged him to apply for jobs. I've offered to take him to job fairs, to resume workshops. Even had our neighbor offer to put in a good word for him for a retail job so he can get hired, but he didn't want to apply. He only has a high school diploma and only experience is in fast food and retail. I'm at work 40–50 hours a week at a corporate job, so the hours and days I am home, I observe that he literally just watches TV, plays video games or works out. Often stays up to 2–3 a.m., sleeps into the afternoon. He's like a 12-year-old on infinite summer vacation. I do majority of the household and yard work. He does his own dishes and washes his own clothes, but that's about it. He does help the few times I do ask him to, but he will procrastinate, so most of the time I just do it myself or else it will take ages to get done. I pay for all the utilities and food in the house. I've told him to apply for SNAP food stamps so at least he can buy his own food, but he refused when he found out that our state requires he apply for jobs with getting SNAP because he is able-bodied adult. He has no driver's license, no car. He rarely leaves the house, and the few times he does, he either asks me to take him or he uses public transportation. He doesn't really have a social life, outside of online friends and our neighbor, the one who offered to help him get a job. He doesn't have a girlfriend and as far as I know haven't been on a date in years. I'm pretty sure he's depressed, but he hasn't made an effort to get help. I'm not sure what to do. Both our names are on the house deed, title from inheriting it, so it's his house too, so it's not like I can throw him out. And I don't want to because he's my brother. But at the same time, after a year of this I'm getting annoyed. I'm not sure what to do and need some advice. Try to be practical about it. The food is where all your leverage is. Literally, just for a while, don't bring any food home. Right? I am a lawyer but not your lawyer. Your state likely has a law that allows for partition of property. This is a way a co-owner of property can force the sale of the property. You likely need to talk to your brother about sharing costs. He won't, and ask if he'll agree to sell and split the proceeds. He won't. Then you move out, call a lawyer, and start partition. These are the events that often break families, when money is involved. Because that house is an inheritance, you may be able to talk to a lawyer and sell the house and each take your share of the sale. Brother is obligated to give you your share of your inheritance. If he can't afford to buy you out, well, that is his problem. If he needs to figure out another living situation, that is his problem. I know how cold-hearted that sounds, but he is never going to change. He has had a decade of adult life to get his life in order and he didn't do anything of value. He is sadly hopeless. You are probably right about mental health issues, but you can't force him to get help. If this living situation is not working for you, you probably have no choice but to get a lawyer involved. Did you inherit 100% of the house? Or split with your brother? If it's yours 100%, you could look into regulations regarding boarding in your area. You may be able to come up with an agreement whereby he pays rent. If he doesn't do that, you can start the eviction process. A little tough love will be the only thing that helps here. It reminds me of when adult children won't contribute and won't move out of the parent's home. Except now you're the parent. If you inherited the house 50-50 with your brother, just force the sale of the house and get your own place. Either way, he will have to find a way to deal with his issues. You don't really have any recourse here, man. Aside from attempting to buy him out of his portion of the house, and kicking him out. But he has to be on board with that. You're not a therapist, so you can't really cure him of the issues that are causing this, nor can you force him to want to get help independently. All you can do is choose whether you want to live in that environment. Right off the bat you can stop enabling him and doing him favors. She, 23F, wants a break with me, 23M, after 6 years. She, 23F, wants a break from me, 23M. We've been together for nearly 6 years, some during college. Then we lived together for a year, and this year she went back to school in another state, so we were long distance, as we had decided that was what was best for her and me, job-wise. The plan was for me to move in with her in June. I was laid off in March from my previous job and had started looking for a job exclusively near her school and apartment to move back in, which we had mutually decided on. This weekend, she came up to visit me as the last hurrah, with my friends, and in my city before I move in with her. When she arrived yesterday, she hit me with a, "We need to talk." She told me that she has grown independently over the year she has lived alone, and can't have me move in with her, literally in less than a week. I truly love her, and think that we are still compatible, but clearly she doesn't see it this way and wants a break to explore, which I chalk down to as maybe dating around a bit. This is both of our first long relationship, and I assume she isn't feeling it anymore. I don't feel comfortable with that and don't like the idea of a break, because I don't think anything good can come of that. A huge wrench in this situation is the fact that I now have an offer letter and have exclusively tied my job search to near her location. If the relationship isn't going to work out, I'd rather stay where I currently live and where my friends are, but finding a job here will be harder, and if things end up working out, we will be 4 hours away. She also brought up the fact that when we met 6 years ago, that she never saw us dating, and that she thought it formed out of convenience, which definitely hurt my feelings. She said she loves the friendship part of our relationship. What do? I want our relationship to work out, but I'm worried it's going to end. Additionally, do I take a job and move away from my friends? Or cancel that search and start looking here? Your relationship is over. This isn't a break. It's a breakup. Even though she's trying to let you down easy, she is done with this relationship. You can argue this point all you want, but this is what's happening. Make your decisions about your job and where you'll live knowing that your relationship with her is over. Okay, let's be constructive here. Forget about her and her reasons. Your friends are where you are currently leaving. It could be harder to find a job, but the only reason that you were moving was to be with your GF. If you move there, there's no guarantee that you will be back, so basically you will go on hope of that. Unless the job is extremely good, I recommend you to stay where you are. Being alone in a new town after a break, a few minutes of your ex, is not healthy also. Move on. Tell her that this don't work for you, that if she choose this road, is not a break is the end. P.S. Sorry about my English. Keep by your friends, let her go, find someone who respects and loves you as much as you do them. Hit the gym, see a therapist. Try to plan a getaway or vacation for yourself, celebrate completing college. Let her go. Don't wait or pine for her, and if it works best for you to go no contact, feel free to tell her that. Rip off the band-aid. It's a breakup. A break is for the backup guy, don't be the backup guy. She wants to fuck other dudes and there's nothing you can do to stop her. If you keep going with this, the only one who is gonna suffer is you. She doesn't care about you anymore. Time to start your new life, my friend. My partner, 22F, lied to me, 22M, about a guy in her life. Do I stay? So this girl I am dating has a best friend, who is a guy. They've grown up together, and have been in each other's lives on and off for a while. I knew all this, and I knew they were close, but she explicitly told me she had no romantic feelings towards him. Before we were officially dating, she would hang out with him a lot. I remember a couple of times she abruptly left me to hang out with him. At this point, even though we weren't dating, I had the impression that that was the goal. With this in mind, I tried to feel as though I was just being jealous and that there really wasn't anything between them. But after we said we were going to be exclusive, she still hung out with him. I had to tell her I was uncomfy with her sleeping with him, as in purely sleeping, because they still were having sleepovers. After this, we were hanging out one day when she said she needed to focus on studying because it was final season, which is true, and she really did have to. I obliged, but I had a suspicion she was hanging out with this guy. Now this could totally be because I'm paranoid, because her behavior made me very paranoid. But I staggered my exit a bit and saw her walking outside with this guy, immediately after I left. She claims it was coincidence, and that he showed up unannounced and she demanded he leave. I don't know what to make of this, but me seeing her walking with him prompted me to say I have stuff to think about, and that I didn't want to follow through on our plans the following day. In response to this, she showed up at my house and started banging on windows until I responded. I responded to her doing this maybe 4 or 5 times before she finally admitted she was more dating him before we met, and that she just didn't want to let me know because I already seemed insecure by his presence and she didn't want to threaten our relationship. All in all, she said so much and probably lied about so much that I can't even tell if I've explained everything. I don't know what to do. Man, these posts make me sad. You're still young, and when I was your age I wanted someone to love on and be loved by so badly that I let them trample my self-worth and respect to the point I was willing to stay through dishonesty and major disrespect. Now, I won't entertain anyone that threatens my peace or security. Why are you with her if she is threatening yours? I urge you to think really hard about this. Best of luck, Op. Nah man. She lied. She's still lying. What's to stay for? Son. You're being played. She's not having sleepovers. She's banging him. You think you're exclusive while she's all-inclusive. Let her go. And get yourself tested ASAP. Who knows who else she's been banging? She's cheating on you, and him. Let him be the one she screws over. Bro. Me, 32M, found out my GF, F27, went on a date. So me and my girlfriend had a huge argument and I said we should break up because I can't seem to make her happy and feel like I don't bring any good to her life because she is always angry at me for something and saying hurtful things. I was really depressed at the time because a lot was going on in my life and kind NDA just wanted her to reassure me that she wants to be with me because she was always mad at me a lot. I cried and I told her I'm in a really bad place ATM and she walked out and said she can't be with someone who doesn't want to fight. Later that night when I had calmed down I told her I was sorry and that I'm just in such a bad place because of work and the stress of it all and that I love her so much. 2 weeks later I find out that she went on a date that night. We split up with a random guy off Facebook and had been sexting the guy that night and talking to each other for the 2 weeks. She says it wasn't cheating because I ended things. I tell her it doesn't make it right because we live together and that shouldn't have been her first instinct. What's your take? Cheating or nah? Just thought I add some more info. This was a while ago and we got back together even went on holiday. But I have recently found out that she sent a selfie to her ex and was flirting with him and sent bikini photos to her male best friend and was discussing our sex life with him. Surely that is cheating? Time to move on. There isn't seem to be much a relationship at this stage. Also looks like you have a bunch of stuff to work on about yourself, and being in the relationship you described doesn't sound like the proper environment to tackle your challenges. Am I back in the 90s watching Friends? You broke up with her. That's not cheating. You should break up anyway because obviously you need to work on some things, and she may need to work on some things too. But here is a tip for next time. Don't break up with someone even for a day if you can't handle the possibilities of what that brings. The relationship needs to end. Doesn't matter if it's for cheating or because she's a toxic, unsupportive girl with anger problems. You just need her out of your life. What does it matter? You're broken up, right? Yes, she is right. You broke up with her. Not cheating. She is your roommate now. When you broke up, you should have worked this part out. One of you has to leave.